Hello and welcome to my community on Afrocentric TV channel 27.9. My name is Kolawole Akinmuyiwa and I'll be your host today. And of course, as always, this is that station that revolves around the African community in the Houston area and of course the extended environs. Today, we have so much packed for you. As you know what the station does, we try everything within our power to elevate our people, to educate our people. And today is one of those days that we bring forth to you two prominent Estonians. By extension, one is resident in Fulshear, and the other, of course, an extended part of when it comes on, we will talk about that. So these people have messages for us, things we need to do as citizens of the United States of America, and of course, bona fide citizens of the city we are going to be talking about. Today, welcome none other than our guest. You know, he's been on this station and especially this show, My Community, wearing different hats. But today is coming not as a politician, but as the man that we need to help us navigate our ways through and make it easy for us to be a part of the country we now call home. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're talking about none other than MMB. No, today is not MMB. That's what I just said, right? So we're talking about Mr. Brown Otu.
Thank you, Kola. I always feel at home whenever I come here. Thank you so much.
Because this is home.
It is home.
This
it
is home.
Funny enough, for those who don't know, I used to work here too.
He said he used to. There's no used to it. He's a part of us. You know, that's one of the reasons why he's here, and he has to feature on this show today. Thank you for gracing our studio once again.
A pleasure. Thanks for the.
So, I see that you are now running.
Yes,
for the Fulshear Council member, right? At large, that is.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So I had to use that word at large so people can understand that, because there's a difference between you being an ordinary council member and being a council member at large. Can you further introduce yourself and tell us why you intend to run for this office? Right. And in what city that is, Fulshear?
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you for the invitation. Thank you for that introduction as well. My name is Brown Otu, and I live in the city of, I used to be in Houston. 2 years ago, my family and I decided to move to Fulshear. And we've been in Fulshear since, since then. And then I decided to run for Fulshear City Council. The reason why I decided to run for this position is because we love Fulshear. Fulshear was very welcoming to us. It's a family-friendly city. I would encourage you, if you've never been to Fulshear City, you should. It's just close to Katy, close to Richmond, close to Houston, close to everywhere. It's right there in the middle. We love it because it's safe. It's safe. It's a place where you feel at rest, you feel at peace, and we want to keep it that way. When I tell people I'm running for public safety, they'll be like, what do you mean? Is it that Fulshear is not safe? No, Fulshear is really safe. And let me just throw this out there. Nowhere is 100% safe. But they've been able to, make sure they suppress the crime to almost 0.0.0 points, if there's a possibility of having that figure of 0.1. I had a meeting with the police captain, Mike McCoy, and during the meeting, I asked him a direct question, and I said, you're an officer of the law. What is your biggest challenge as a police officer in the city of Fulshear? He used one word to describe his biggest challenge. He said the growth. And I asked him to explain. He said, well, the growth is Fulshear is growing really fast.
Exponential, I can attest to that.
Correct. It's growing really fast, and it will be good to, for them to be proactive rather than reactive. And so I asked him, if I was to be a council man, what kind of help would you want from me? He said, well, That's they're doing well, but they will want some kind of support. Keeping the department competitive. What that means is they want to be able to get the right kind of people for the job. They wouldn't want to just get anybody for them to maintain their standard because Fulshear Police Department they hold standard really high. They
I
have
love that.
Chief Seymour, who's the police chief. He doesn't mess around. He sets pretty high standard for the officers, and that's why they do really well. So yeah, so bottom line, he said he wants us to make sure that we keep the department competitive, and I promise that that is one of the things that I hope to achieve because I also have kids. I have families here in Fulshear. I want them to stay safe. I want them to be safe. So it's one of my priorities actually to support public safety. Anything that supports public safety, I'm the guy.
I love
And
that.
also another reason why I'm running is to support small businesses. I'm a small business owner, which you already know. My entertainment business, my photography, my DJ business. So when I moved out of Houston, I moved it with me to Fulshear. And so when I speak with small businesses, what they tell me is, oh, yeah, they're having problems with the traffic. They're having problems with parking spaces for their customers, the taxes, And what I always tell them is this: I know you guys are having problems right now. I mean, talking about those who complain. Some people
Mhm.
they will just tell me they're doing good. As a matter of fact, I met one guy today. I think he works with he's at the Essence Cafe
Mm.
on 359. He told me he said business is good now because I asked him. I said compared to 5 months ago, how's your business? He said, well, the business is better than 5 months ago. So some people are doing pretty well.
Mm.
And then some people are having, some people are struggling, which is normal in life. You're not just going to have everybody having a good
Yeah,
time.
you have to put a check somewhere.
Correct, correct, correct. So um, I will support small businesses. The reason why I say I will support small businesses is because I know what I went through setting up my own small business when I moved. There were some I think it was a little bit of the procedure was a bit long to set it up,
Mm.
paperwork wise. So I'm trying to see how we can streamline all that, you know, paperwork so that you can just apply for permits, license, and you just get it one time. That's what I'm working on. And then thirdly, I want to make sure that we have our kids go out and play more. When I say play, not just play, but go out in the sun, go get some
Like
fresh
in the
air.
past, like
Yeah, in the
when
parks.
we were kids,
Correct. You know
before the
how
sun
we,
comes down.
correct. These days they are indoors, their devices, and there's nothing wrong being on your device, but it just depends on how long, how many hours are you
Let there be
on it.
human relationship.
Correct. Go out and play with your neighbors, with the neighbors' kids. Sometimes they don't even know who lives next door. And they got kids next door.
Mm.
They come down from their school buses, they just walk straight home while playing on the devices. So I'm trying to see how we can encourage these kids to go out and play some more. And it's not just the kids, the parents too should go out with them. It helps create a solid bond between families. If your parents are there at the park, you're playing games, your parents are cheering you on. It's fun to see. That's what I'm trying to do. It's
Mm.
it's just to keep
Human
up with the
interaction.
family friendly nature of Fulshear.
So that brings me to a question that bears, which is one of the titles that comes with the seat you're running for, the position. You say it's the Fulshear City Council at large.
Oh yeah, yes,
What
at
does
large.
at large mean? I mean, it's one thing to be a city councilor,
Yeah,
a council member rather, but at large, it defines something.
correct. So the city of Fulshear has two at-large positions, and what those positions mean is you are going to be a council member for the whole of Fulshear. Fulshear has different districts. They have a number of districts, and they have council members who are, I want to use the word, they represent those individual districts. But the at large means a council member for the whole of Fulshear. So it's more or else like I will be representing all of Fulshear,
Not just a part of it,
not
like a
just part of
district,
it.
a certain district then
No,
at
I
large.
live in District 1.
But then you can still represent District 2, 3, 4, 5 if there's
Five,
anything like
correct,
that.
correct. That's the difference between the other council member position and the at-large position.
And for those that doesn't know where Fulshear is, I know you made mention of, because there are things that I wanted to I needed to you to clarify for us here. I noticed there are zoning, right? I'm also a real estate agent here in Texas,
Okay.
so I understand what
The
zoning
importance
is,
of zoning.
right? So there are some places where you think because you live here, you can do certain things within that community or that zone or that district. Meanwhile, when it comes to elections, you might be exempted. You might just not be able to vote in that district. Because a lot of people need to understand that just by virtue of you living in a borderline and you are under the same county, say for instance Harris County, Fort Bend County, you're in those counties. However, there are some regions where you're limited because you are in the what we call the borderline or outskirts of that city.
Yes.
That means you probably are not eligible to vote in that district. Can you tell us what areas people can cover, or rather, people that can vote for your district? People, what areas they cover?
Okay.
Can you give us a geographical region, within the Fulshear area?
Okay, yeah. Firstly, Fulshear falls into Fort Bend County. Um, and I think what you're trying to talk about is the city limits. There is limitations. Sometimes when you, like I was telling a friend, many people don't really pay attention to it. They just want to buy a house, move in with their family, and start off their lives. Like in the city of Fulshear, the only people that can vote in a local election are those who live within the city limits of the city.
So it doesn't matter if my address carries the city name.
Correct. Carries the city name, carries the city zip code, and all. If you're not within the city limit of Fulshear, I can only speak for Fulshear at this point.
Right, I understand.
Yeah, and you won't be able to vote. Now, how can you know if you live within the city of Fulshear? All you need to do is go to the Fulshear City website. And there is a link on the homepage. I believe it's on the homepage, but it's called "Am I a Resident?" Now, yes, when you click on that link, it's going to ask you for your address. You put in your address, you click enter or submit. It will show you where you live, and it will also show you. You can tell from the results if you live within the city limits.
Because it's going to prompt you to put your address or something.
Yes,
right?
Which is what the information that you put it in there, and then I believe there's a red and blue color. If it kicks you out of the blue into the red, you know that you live outside the city limits.
But wouldn't that pose as a challenge for someone like you? See, for your campaign now, you're campaigning for Fulshear City Council at large. That means you cover the entire Fulshear area.
Correct.
However, if I get to the poll and I'm trying to vote, and it's telling me I cannot vote just because, wouldn't that be a challenge for someone like you running for an office?
It would be a challenge. I think what's happening in Fulshear right now is because Fulshear is growing and it's still developing
exponentially. That I can attest to.
Yeah, it's still growing and it's still developing. I know that will be sorted out soon. It doesn't make sense to me if my neighbor who lives maybe 30 seconds away can't vote in a local election, and I can vote. And I know I've started educating people about it. They didn't know about this. Sometimes they tell me, "Oh, Brown, I'm coming to support you. I'm gonna go vote for you." And then when I ask them, "Oh, so where do you?" Because I already know this. Most people don't know this. So the first thing I will ask you is, "Where do you live?" when you tell me where you live, I'm like, okay, that's good. That's if you if you live within the
Within the
city
city
limits,
limit.
yes. And then if you tell me you live in you mean outside the city limits, I'm like, I don't think you can vote. And then they ask me why, and that's when I explain to them, and they still don't get it. I said, okay, you know what? This is what you need to do. Just go to the website, put in your address. From the results, they're going to explain everything to you. They're going to show you your district council person and everything. Then you know what to do from there.
But I still think they can participate in one way or the other. Just this is just to throw that in. They can help mobilize. They can help campaign for your
Oh no, they can. No, they definitely can. I have a few friends who
yeah.
live outside the city limits, and they actually call me and tell me, "Hey, Brian, can you please bring yard signs for me?"
Yeah,
Because
so when people see the mob, it speaks
that's
to
one
their
way they can
subconscious.
support.
Yes,
Yes,
exactly.
yes.
So don't think because you're within the city, or rather you're within the city, without outside of the city limit, and you think you cannot do anything to support Mr. Brown here. You can definitely do something. You can get out there, let the people hear the word what he stands for. I believe he stands on these three mandates, major mandates that it is not limited to them, but these are the three major ones that I know for sure. He stands for public safety, as he mentioned earlier. He stands for to support, and he stands to with the support for small businesses and also the community engagement. Those three major aspects of a growing city, I think, are essential, right? So if you can tell us when early voting starts.
Okay. Early voting starts in April, which is next month. I mean, sorry, which is this month. A couple of
I was
weeks.
gonna say we're in
Yeah.
April already.
I've been doing some door-to-door campaigns, so I
Yeah, it
seem to have
happens. It
forgotten.
happens. Understandable.
Yeah, so it starts on April 22nd. It runs all the way to April 29th, and the actual voting day is May 3rd.
So May 3rd.
Yeah, May 3rd. So
And
just let me
right.
throw something in there. You were just trying to tell them how they could support me. What you can do is go to my website. My website has all the information, how you can help me. You can just go to Brown02 4, as in
The number 4.
Fulshear.com. Brown OTU number 4 Fulshear.com. It has a link there where you can support me. You can either invite me to come speak to your friends, request for yard signs, make donations, which this campaign needs. You know, different ways you can support the campaign. You don't need to live in within the city limits of Fulshear. If you can support me while you're in Houston, I would appreciate that too by reaching out to your friends in Fulshear.
I believe it's always good to have a seat at the table for our people, because we have our own culture which a lot of people need to imbibe in, and I see that as grown as Houston has been, and it's not shedding its population outside of the Houston city
Correct.
limits. That's what Bertha the Katy, the Brookshire, the Cypress, the Rosenberg, the neighboring cities out there where now Fulshear, right? So if that's something you're doing, you can be rest assured that we here at our, other than the fact that you've been, a family, we will support, whatever it is you do, because we know you're a man of good character, your attitude and everything towards work and success is something to emulate, and I will appreciate if our people, of course, and not just this is not limited to Africans or Nigerians only. It's speaking to, again, at large. It's speaking to everyone that can throw their support. He needs our support. He needs our support in terms of campaigning. He needs our support in terms of door knocking. He needs support in terms of funding, very necessary. There are materials that needs to be printed. There are campaigns, there are adverts that needs to be placed and everything. So he needs our help, and you can do so by going to Brown O2. It's BROWNOTU 4, the number 4, Fulshear, FULSHEAR.com, to support this gentleman here. He's been a prominent part of our community, and we love and support everything you have done so far. And we believe sky is just a stepping stone for you. We hope that you get to the heights that you deserve, and then with the people behind you, you will succeed.
Thank
You
you.
know, so thank you so much for gracing our studio today. And please, people, do not forget, early voting starts this month on the 22nd of April, and it will
Actually, it's the
last.
day after my birthday.
Oh,
So
wow, congratulations.
thank you.
That should bring you some luck. You know,
Hopefully.
so April
Hopefully.
22nd is early voting, ends on the 29th of April. However, it closes then you can go for the main election, which is the voting on May 3rd, right? So please visit www.brown02forfullshare.com to support. Thank you so much for everything. And don't forget the mandates. He stands for safety. He stands to support your business and community engagement. Be well. Until next time, see you soon. Thank you. Hello and welcome back to my community on Afrocentric TV, channel 27.9. I remain your host, Kolawole Akinmuyiwa. I told you earlier that we have prominent members of the community and also a supporter of the studio where we are at Afrocentric TV. You know, this is that studio where we change that narrative, where we brings about what's happening in our community. Of course, the good things, because nobody's going to tell us our own story. We can't give the pen to other medias or anybody else to tell our own story. We have to tell it the way it is. And so there are events, there are occurrences, there are successful stories to be told about Africans doing great things in our community. And as such, this is where we talk about them, my community. Again, I remain your host. And right now, not just today, you remember the earlier part of this segment, we talked about one of ours running for the city council at large in the Fulshear area. But now we want to talk about, you know, something that is dear to our hearts, to our community as Africans in the Houston area. Not just Houston, but Houston metro area. When you talk about the Baytown, the Rosenberg, the Galveston, you know, the Woodlands, the Conroe, you name it, Katy, Cypress, Spring, Humble, Fulshire, Rosenberg, Richmond. The list goes and on and on and on. This man we want to talk about today has impacted even us at our studio. I remember one time we were having a community outreach, and he came out in his humble self, distributed food to the community for over 1,000 community members that day in this hot weather of Texas, you know, of Houston. And he was out there sweating, and yet he rolled his sleeves and was able to do it. So his passing is something that the entire community mourned. It was a sad moment for us. But we thank God for him, for the heavens had just gained an angel who will lost the person dear to our hearts. And to talk about the tribute that we have for him is our person. We call him our Afrocentric PR person, the Houston guy. You know, this guy came to Houston humbly, and everybody was like, ah, he's such a, you know, he's just a guy. But no, to us, it's not just a guy. Like we do everybody that is a part of our family, part of our community. You know, we support things that, you know, will change the face of what's going on in Houston area. And of course, the United States at large. And Mr. No, I take that back. Pastor, he wears many crowns. And before I bring him on, let me do a little introduction. I call him TJ.
Yes, sir.
He goes by Akin, right? And he's the pastor. Don't mix that. Pastor Akim. You know, yes, he is Akim TJ Tijani. He is the founder and owner of Calvary Lane Consulting. Is a PR company and a consulting firm here in the Houston area. He's also the executive pastor of the Transforming Church, Richmond, Texas. Welcome to our studio, my friend.
Thank you, brother. I feel like reintroducing you too.
You want to introduce me? Everybody knows me. You know, this is bald head guy that's always talking about people.
Afrocentric is home.
It is home for us.
Trust me.
Yes.
I'm always honored and happy to to be here, to be part of all the projects that
Thank
we
you.
do together, empowering, and like the last one, empowering our women.
Yes.
30, women,
Yes,
and we're
thank
waiting for
you.
the men's own. Please,
We will. We'll talk to our
Let's do.
executive producer.
Yes, please let him do something
That
about
tiny
it.
bitty man that behind
That
everything, but that
wonderful,
would
that wonderful man.
well, you can call him wonderful. He's a tiny bitty.
Because his name is that way with W.
Well,
So,
brah, I hold the mic now.
okay, no
So
problem.
yes.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome,
Mr.
sir.
Kola.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
To always be here. My second time interviewing here. Yeah.
It's such a moment for us in the Houston area. Thing we want to talk about today is my father and mother-in-law. I love him so much. My church pastor.
I'm yet to meet anyone who has encountered or knows.
I've been in Houston for
doesn't love him.
I think 22 years of my 24 years in the United States, and I have not seen a man so selfless as this man, and genuinely,
authentic.
And
genuine.
It's not that he's faking it because he's a politician or that he's doing it just to earn credit.
Yeah,
he's doing it out of the abundance
of his person, of his heart.
This is just a genuine man. He was.
I call him the mayor of the audience of one.
Of the audience of one. Does not matter where you're from.
Does talk to you, one person, the way he would talk to 1,000. That's weird.
And he never turns down our invitation.
No,
Ever.
There's no one
ever. Until one time he was sick, and that's when we knew something was wrong.
Yeah.
And regardless, he still came on, and he still sent us a video about that event coming up.
Yes.
He could have made it, but he sent his guy, our guy, Mazda. Oh my goodness!
I mean, Mazda is our hero.
I don't want to get emotional here right now. So
time. I mean, I tell people time will heal and time will heal
us. I mean, he's such a great man.
Yeah, will heal us of the loss, but he also reveal the good that will come out of that.
Yeah, I'm glad we're here to talk about him, and that we're putting
Thank you very much. Thank you
for taking a lead on this and bringing everybody together so we can honor a man
in a big way. We intend to make it the biggest tribute in
as it should be for our community. Yeah. So the tribute is about, of course, our late congressman, Sylvester Turner, who is the former mayor of Houston, Texas.
Yeah, was mayor 2 terms.
Of course.
2 terms.
Come on, can you be that? We're talking about a mayor. If there was a possibility to extend that, it would have extended. And we will talk about his transitioning from being the mayor to being the congressman.
Yeah.
In the moment.
Even before he was mayor, it was 27 years Texas House of Representative. 27 years. A dedicated life to serving the people.
And he did serve.
He did. So he's the only politician that when I see his picture, I don't see a politician. I just see a human being who loves people, who is always willing to serve the last breath. In fact, 2 weeks before his death, it was at Diaspora Africa conference as a keynote speaker. I'm telling you, he came and spoke, and I spoke with him when the day of his inauguration as a congressman. We spoke. He said, "TJ, Africa is a priority for me." Because he was in Africa in November. He went to Nigeria. He went to Ghana.
I was part of that crew, remember?
I remember.
We just couldn't make it because we have a project
that I was working on. I remember that.
We're just going to make it to
and he still
Nigeria.
Carried it, and he says, "TJ, that is my legacy."
And he's speaking for him today.
Yeah, he's speaking for him. So we really do have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, I've done a lot of groundwork for the Houston area.
Thank you for celebrating.
And I just hope, we can put the same weight and support behind Mayor Whitmire as we have on Mayor Turner.
Yeah, I mean, so the new Mayor Whitmire, we had a meeting with the African, I can say leaders 2 months ago in a room, just him and a few of us, and he has his commitment that if he gets an invitation to come, first we appreciate the fact that the mayor's office, the new mayor, is willing to work with us, the community, to get the Africa Day legacy not to stop. Mayor Turner was
started it. Oh boy,
was the mayor who started it, and he ran it for 9 years, and he was there every year for those entire 9 years.
Do you know? Every year, this man changes his attire for African Day. he looks forward to it. He looked forward to those days where he would dive himself in those African attire. And Mazda, the nun, does great job just, kitting the man, making sure he looks right for every tribe possible.
Everybody
within the African community.
We can't celebrate Mazda enough. And I feel that no matter what achievement that we've had as a community, Mazda deserves every single. I don't anyone do. I mean, everyone lacks any kind.
There was business
of iota of responsibility to
there was
say
business
nothing but
integration
good.
between Africa and the Houston area.
Even to
the liaison.
To the extent that the White House had to call them to say, "Hey, Africa Day, they adopted." So Atlanta adopted it.
I know Maryland.
New York adopted it. Maryland is
now. Yeah. So it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful
thing.
That tells you a great deal of the kind of person this man is. But anyway, so let's talk about
the tribute. It for every community.
Oh, he does not discriminate.
Every community.
He does not discriminate.
The space of the city that he looked at.
You look at the Discovery Greens, you would think, they'll bring Afro beats, they will bring, cultural days and things like that. Shut down the streets of Houston downtown just to recognize him. It's so much to talk about when it comes to Mayor Turner.
We have 3 hours. We cannot finish talking about the one that
talking about. So let's talk about his tribute to our great former mayor, late congressman, and the tributes that we have for him coming up. The proposed date now is the 31st of May.
It's 31st of May, which is a Saturday. And the reason is because we have Africa Day on the 30th. Every year, we always had Africa Day somewhat around 19 because Africa Day was birthed out of the celebration of when the African Union came together.
The AU.
And became a union. And it was, I think it's 25th of May that is. So we always had Africa Day every year. But because, number one, we didn't know what it was going to be like with the new mayor, but until we met him and told him we were already planning. So that's why we're moving into the 30th of May.
Fantastic.
And we're also trying to ensure that we have ambassadors, African Union ambassadors, consulate leagues from DC, from New York that can come for us to be able to celebrate Africa Day. And hopefully we'll have them attend Mayor Turner's tribute. And that's why we're having it on that 31st. And we're doing all the back work in our community. Mazda, thank you very much for what you do. Mr. Warren, Mr. Okoro, Poso, quite a lot
community
of people, community leaders coming together for us to have it. And sincerely, I didn't know how much Mayor Turner's death affected me until like 2 weeks after. It's still like I
think I'm still in denial, but I'm trying to sink into the reality.
Yeah.
So for this tribute, who lots are invited to?
I'll say everybody. We are inviting our community leaders across all tribes, across all nations, across all religion, across all business line, across all color lines, left, right, center, up, down, middle, to come together to let us celebrate. We're hoping to have ambassadors. We're hoping to have our community leaders within. Afrocentric, always a pleasure for you guys to support any idea in our community, everyone possible. And we're also going to invite the mayor, to come and grace that occasion. And I'm going to get in touch with them to ensure that he knocks out that date for us to celebrate Mayor Turner on that day. And we're also going to have his family come on the day. So we're hoping to make sure that it's a conglomeration of stars that sincerely would come together to give a keynote on what exactly how this man has really transformed and changed lives of many people. I remember when the church hosting us, the Grace International Church, when they invited him to come and cut the ribbon for their event center. They had written a letter to him, and then I think he was busy, so they got caught up, and they called me and said, "Hey, Victor Lofimaki, one of our community leaders, well done, Victor, called me and said, TJ, we reached out to him." I said, "Oh no, I just send a message. Oh, Mazda, one of our top leaders in our community has a massive building that was built debt free. Can you help?" In 3 days, Mayor Turner readjust his program to attend that inauguration. And I remember that day, Pastor Ayo, Dr. Ayo Ajim had said to him, "We will not forget."
What is to forget about such a man?
So when he vied for Congress, we didn't forget. He's gone to be with the Lord. We will still not forget.
I remember when it was, the transitioning between him being the former mayor and becoming the congressman. It just so happened that Sheila Jackson Lee passed on.
So another person that did, oh Lord,
and
rest in peace,
amen,
Lady Sheila Jackson Lee, wonderful. And
I
sincerely, I hope that, Mayor Turner's one is fresh. Sincerely, I think that maybe from that day, we should also find another day where our community organizes a tribute for Lady Sheila Jackson. Yeah, I think we should do that.
They are great community leaders.
Awesome.
And I want to believe the mayor Whitmire is doing a tremendous job.
He's trying his best. He's extending an olive branch to us.
The community.
That part, understanding the community.
And the people working with him, of course, give him the leverage to understand our community even more, because Africans are peaceful people. Yeah, we can be loud. We can be loud, peaceful, but we don't fight. We don't engage in crime.
No, we don't.
We're
hard workers.
They know that. A lot of successful young folks,
business owners,
up and rising, entertainment, in medicine,
in military,
real
estate,
real estate,
in politics,
in politics now,
education, healthcare,
name it. So we are good people. We are people to reckon. We are a force to reckon.
Yeah, we are.
And we hope that people working with the mayor will help bridge that gap.
They're trying.
That is there.
They're trying.
So that way we can continue in that legacy that the previous leaders that we have in our community or administration we have in our community continues. And I think from what I've seen so far, we can only applaud the mayor and give our support to him as well. Wherever, if he needs anything, please reach out to us.
I'm honored to say that the mayor's office through Mr. Kunle Legbede and the chief of staff, Madam Gigi, reached out to me that they wanted a liaison between the community and the mayor's office.
That would be great.
I'm honored to serve in that capacity. That's why anything that is in our community, I just get Mr. K. So thank you, Mr. K,
Mr. K, all that you do,
and that you will do more.
Thank you so much for my brother. Thank you for everything you've been doing for our community. We appreciate you. Yeah. Thank you so much, and thanks to the mayor as well. We hope you'll be making yourself available as well, if your schedule permits, of course, to be in attendance
on the day of the tribute.
On the day of this tribute, because
he has promised to be a day on Africa Day, and I apologize for the last one.
Of course, I'm talking about the Africa Day. We're talking about the mayor. The mayor. So we can all come together. I know the city had done something for the candlelight and everything.
Oh yeah, the city have done
at the city council, but here this is for us Africans. We want to, is a closure that we need to have with someone that has made a tremendous impact in our community and in our lives as individuals. I kind of countless time have I encountered this man, and each time he will always wear a smile.
I'm telling you,
Kola, is a typical the way with the intonation. Kola. My name is Kola Wale.
It seems very far, but yet very close.
He is there to us. He is there to us. He's there to us.
My kids, even my children, could feel and know that.
I know Wazobia would miss him.
Mr. Tunde Fashional would miss him. Brother, every single aspect of our community, I can tell you for free.
He had touched very well.
The Nigeria Day that we do in the city.
Yes, the Nigerian Day. Even when we have two different Nigerian days, I know AIX have theirs and Clara have hers, but yet we still make it.
We still make it work
somehow.
And we always make sure you attend.
No, he's a great man. We can't put that aside. But today, again, that day is going to be dedicated to the mayor.
Yes.
It's a tribute. It's a day that we set aside to honor that man. Again, it's a proposed date, which is May 31st. Once confirmed, we would have share that information with you. Just be on the lookout for us. Mr. TJ, thank you for putting it all together. Thank you for being in the forefront. Thank you for everything you're doing for our community. Hopefully someday you'll run for mayor as well. You know,
oh Lord,
thank you so much. And the location for this is going to be, well, it's going to be Grace International Church, but the date is yet to be firmed up. But it tentatively is it's a Saturday, May 31st, 2025. It's going to be around noon for about 3 hours, you know. And thanks to Pastor Dr. Ayo Ajim for you know, giving us the grace to host, you know.
He's a gracious man who passes the grace.
Yes, yes. And the address to Grace International Church is 15401 Bel Air Boulevard, Houston, Texas, 77083. You know, so we look forward to seeing everybody. Once the date is firmed up, we will share. And just be on the lookout, www.afrocentrictv.com. Don't forget, the C at the end of Afrocentric is not a C, it's a K. Like Kolawole, I have to be, you know.
It's clearly
it's K. It's afrocentrictv.com. Please do not forget to follow us on like and subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, Afrocentric Television.
Yes, sir.
And of course on our social media pages. We're talking about Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. It's Afrocentric TV. You know, that's our handle, at Afrocentric TV. Please join us, follow us, and if you have any questions, reach out to me. If you see me on the street, just call me here. If
you have any event also, please reach out for them to cover it.
Afrocentric TV is
number one.
It's Houston supporting terrestrial TV.
Yeah.
And soon enough, you will see us everywhere. And until next time, please do not forget to love us as we love you back and give more to our community. Thank you for always, and remain blessed.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
God bless you.